Let me start the recording as well. Hello, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for joining in for today's session, which will be on debugging and error handling or troubleshooting. Um, so let's begin. We have 5, 6 people joining in. Maybe a couple of more will join in some time. Let me share my screen. I hope you can see my bubble screen, right?
Yes, we can see. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for the confirmation. Let me open the chat. Okay, so far, whatever we have learned is just building, right? But when we are talking about products, there are bound to be issues, right? And we are supposed to understand why are we facing issues and how do we ensure that the issue is resolved. Okay. So one of the things Bubble gives us on the front end while we are developing is um, debug mode, right? So anything that's happening on the front end, we can actually see it. Okay, so let me go ahead to our feed page where we can create the posts, right? So I'm going to user and I'm going to log in as abcliterature.com, right? And the username and password is even and PW, I guess. Yeah. So I'm going to put and PW. Okay. So by default, whenever you are on dev version, that is version test, right? It'll open in the debug mode, which is debug mode equal to true. So you have this options available here, right? Which is inspect, normal, slow, step by step. Okay. So normal is the normal method that is like it runs as normal. Okay. Now, I'll show you how step by step can be used. Slow I've never used, but it's like I'll first explain step by step and I'll then show you slow, right? So I'll click on this particular pop-up opens, right? So if I click on step by step and then click on this, you can see every workflow happening one step at a time, right? So we clicked on this particular thing, which is text start. Okay. So it starts with this particular event, okay, where you can see text start a post is clicked. Okay. And then when I click on run next, the next step is show pop-up create post, right? So if you go here, right, we clicked on this particular thing, which is basically create post, right? This is the group that I clicked on. Okay. And when I click on this, what we have told, show pop-up create post. Okay, that's what is being shown here. And when I click on run next, the pop-up actually opens. Okay, now let's say I'll add a text or posting, right? And then I'll click on post. I'm still on step-by-step mode. So I'll click on post. So what happens is it'll run the workflow step by step. Okay. So button post is clicked. That's the event that we have created. And when we click on run next, you can see create a new post is asked to do, right? And the post text is I will add a text for posting. Image is empty, right? So sometimes what happens is we assume that it has to run like this, right? And when you see the database, you are like, okay, this is not getting recorded. Why? Okay, I'll show you a very simple example. Okay, now we have created everything here, but let's assume that let's create a post. Okay, and this is the post button. Go here. Let's say I've deleted this particular thing, right? I've not connected the input field to post creation, because if there is issue, then it is mostly because of some error that we have created. Okay, we have not connected something well, and that's why there is an issue. Okay, most of the times it will be human error and nothing to do with systems, right? 99.9% of the time, system will work perfectly fine. It's we, the humans, who will make mistakes. And we have to understand what is the mistake that we have done if the system is not working as per the expectation, right? So now in this particular case, I have not connected the test. Okay, and how do I find out? So I go here, which is the thing. I'll click on run. So this opens up. This is the second post I am creating. Okay, I'll click on step by step and click on post. I'll click on run next, and then I see, okay, the text is not linked, right? So I know in this particular step, the text is not linked, and that's why the post that we have created does not have a text added in the database. If we go back to posts, this particular post does not have a text. So you can actually see every step by step what is happening. Is this clear, everyone?
So, Mr. Ritesh, here, I tried what you said, I understood, but what to look for? See, once we say step by step,
Mhm.
then we have to keep on clicking and see. See, now I have seen that, I mean, everybody saw that there is no text coming there. So,
Correct.
uh,
Correct.
I mean, so I get confused, like, what is that? Click, first you have to keep, I mean,
You
step
have
by
to go
step.
step by step. I'll show you. I'll show you.
Mm.
Okay. Third tweet, let's say. I'll click on step by step. I'll click on post, right? I click run next. It comes to this particular thing.
Mhm.
Here we are creating a new post, and the values that we are sending is post text, which is third tweet, and image, which is empty.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'll click on run next. What is it doing? Reset relevant inputs. Okay. I'll click on run next. It is hiding the pop-up create post, which is this pop-up.
Mm.
I'll click on run next, and then we are going to show error alert standard, right? And the message is your post has been added. Notification type is success, right? Position on page is top right. XSS protection is true. Heading is post created. So if I click on this, we can see this particular thing, right? So
Okay.
even if this is a very large, what is a workflow, we can still go step by step by step by step and see what exactly is happening.
Okay. So first we have to click the element which we want to debug, and they go step by step. That
So it depends on when do you want a step by step. So for example, I do not want a step by step for this opening because I know there is no problem there.
okay.
Right? So I'll go to normal. I'll click on this. This opens up. I'll type whatever I want. Right? Now when I click on post is when I want step by step.
Okay.
Right? And that's when I'll click this. Now we have understood what is step by step. Slow, if you click, you can see that it happens automatically one step at a time
It
without
moves
clicking
on its
run next.
own. Yeah, it moves on its own slowly. Mm.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
Now let's see this one. Okay. Oh, this particular tweet does not have a user details being shown. Okay. You
Okay.
see here,
Mm, yeah.
this particular user tweet does not have a user details shown here. Why? Okay. For finding why, we can click on inspect, right? And then hover your mouse on top of this elements. So every element will be shown red when you hover on top of it, right? So this is the like button, this is the comment button, this is the repost button, right? This is our text that we have added. This is the user group. This is the profile picture. Here inside will be the name. Okay, so if I click on this one, okay, this is the user who have created this particular post. So data source is parent groups post. So let's go to parent groups post first. Testing database triggers. You see this? So that is the text that we have got here. Okay. So parent groups post is this particular one. Creator is nothing because this was created from the backend workflow using database trigger. Okay. So you can see unique ID is admin user begin C1 test. Okay. This was not created by a real user from the front end. This was created from the backend workflow, and this is considered to be admin user. And that's why we don't have any details here. Okay. Now, if I want to make it unified, like I don't want it to be blank like this because this looks very odd. So now what I can do is I can go over here, right? And I can go to this particular thing and I can add if parent groups name. What is this? No, not here, not here. We don't want it to be here. We want it to be over here, right? What we want is if parent group users unique ID. Okay, I've copied the unique ID from here, this particular one, right? ID contains, then I'll paste this, but this is like begin C1 test and all. So what I'll do is I'll just put admin underscore user. Okay, because if it goes to live database, then probably it will become admin underscore user underscore begin C1 underscore live. Okay, and that's why I'll just put admin user because unique ID for all the users will be some 32 character alphanumeric thing. Not alphanumeric, it is numbers, but we will have X in between. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll say image source and I'll add some what to say dummy image of let's say a robot. Something, right? So I'll just input this one, let's say. Okay. And here also I'll put the same condition that take this particular condition, come over here, paste condition, remove this, and the text will be admin or system admin, whatever it is. Now, if we see this, right, we will have nothing empty. You can see here, right? It's not empty anymore. So if you want to understand how or why is something not being shown on the front end, then we use inspect. Okay, click on inspect. I see, oh, here, this is not being shown. Okay, reposted by, and then we don't have anything here. Let's see why. Right, so I go to this one, and then we have this reposted by, right? Parent group's user's name. So parent group user, nothing. Okay, there is no user who's been associated with this particular post. Now what I'll do is I'll take this particular thing, right? And I'll go to posts. I'll search for this one. Okay. And this is the post that was posted. If we go inside, it is by some user. Now, what I'll do is I'll take the unique ID of this particular post. And if we see here, right, this particular post, this is someone has reposted this. So we have to understand who was the person who reposted this, right? And that's why what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a filter here, okay, which is reposted, linked. Repost. Where is the it's not post comments, right? Comments. Oh, okay. Reposted from is what we want. I thought it's a user, but no. Reposted from is equals to this particular thing, right? Or rather, it's asking for the text, so we will go here. Okay. Now, if we add this particular filter, why did it take? Not taking it for something. Okay. No. I don't know what's wrong with. Hmm. Come on, Bubble. Okay, reposted from isn't empty. Let's go with that because we know. So here is the thing which was reposted. And if we go here, created by is a deleted thing. Okay, which means it is either created from here, okay, or backend workflow, right, where user is not associated with it. So we don't know which user actually reposted this. Getting it? Are you able to follow this, everyone? Okay. So this is how we use this debugger mode. One more important thing. Sometimes what happens is your element is like when you hover like this, you might not be able to find the exact element. Okay, for example, if I go over here, okay, this is fine because when the element is clearly visible and it has something, I can hover on top of it. But here, if you see, last time I was not able to hover on direct this particular thing because it was not visible, right? A lot of times there will be elements which are not visible and we are not able to figure out what is happening with that. Then what we can do is we can go to the design and let's say this particular group. Okay, group create post. Now I'll do one thing. I will go to the user. We had user roles and this thing last time, right? So we have hidden this particular creating a post for some sorts of users. So I'll log in as let's say some user. Okay. I'm hoping that this will get hidden now. Yeah. So that is hidden. Now we have to understand like why did this get hidden? Okay. Now we know the actual reason. Okay, we know the actual reason, but let's assume that we don't. Okay, if we don't know, then how do we find it? Right now, if you click on inspect, you will not be able to hover because that element itself is not visible, right? And you don't know why it is not visible. Okay, so of course we can go over here and then check when is this showing and when it is not being shown and stuff like that. So for example, here we have current users, user role is owner, only then show. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. But I'll just change this to main. All right. Create post main. Now what I'll do is because it's not visible, I'll click on inspect and I'll search for create. Okay, create host main. Okay, now you can see that it is showing invisible. Okay, but still I can search from here. And when I search, you can see current user's user role is owner. Only then it will be shown. Okay, current user's user role is empty. Okay, only if it is owner, we told we will display this part, that particular group. So now we know why this particular group is hidden. Now, if we feel that this particular owner, this particular user needs to be able to see this, that particular group, we either have to give him or her owner rights, or we have to remove that condition and modify it such that the user can see it. Are you getting it? Clear, everyone? Very, very important, because a lot of times people understand how to build things, but when issues come, they do not understand like what needs to be done. Right? So this is how you tackle issues and find out where the issue is and then take your decision. Now, all of this is good if you're doing it on the front end, because we have this step by step, we have inspect mode, right? And all of this is there and we can figure it out. But what if things are happening on the server? Okay, so for example, we did some database triggers couple of days back. I mean, couple of sessions back. Where was that? Did we do a database trigger or not? Create a new log. We did, right? Yeah. So now this happens on the backend flow. Okay. Now, whenever there is change, there is some log happening and stuff like that. Let's assume that this particular thing is not working. Okay, this particular thing is not working. How do we figure out why is it not working? Anybody? Because this is all happening on server. Can anybody guess how do we figure out what is happening on the backend workflow? Because we don't have inspect mode, we don't have step-by-step mode or anything of that sort on the backend workflow. So how do we deal with it? Any guesses?
Hello, you hear me?
Sorry?
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, we can check on logs to see
Yeah,
what's happening
correct.
on the backend
So
workflow.
we can check on logs, right? So we can go to server logs and then you can mention how long ago did this happen. So if you get an issue from somebody telling that I tried to do this, but it didn't work or something like that, right? Then you can go to, let's say, like 30 minutes ago. Okay. And then click on this and then you can search like what all happened and stuff like that, right? If you know who is the user who tried to do it, you can give their email ID. If there is specific data type or any text that you know about that particular situation, you can put that contains that particular text or whatever it is, right? Email ID, phone number, whatever it is. Okay, so for example, if I know that I want to understand about this particular post, then I'll put contains, then click on search. I'll find only things related to that particular post. Okay. Click on show advanced and you will see what all are ticked by default. So we have started running workflow, we have finished running workflow, we have event condition passed, then we have event condition not passed, we have workflow error, running action, auto binding operations, action condition failed, and finished running action. Okay. There are a few things that are not ticked. For example, scheduled task to run, scheduled task completion, error running API workflow, and so on and so forth. If you feel that whatever you are looking for is amongst these things which are not ticked, then you can tick them. And if you don't know like uh, what it is, but you only know that it's not working, but you don't know because of what it's not working, then tick everything. Right? And search for it. Okay. Now, frankly speaking, this is a headache. Like I hate the way Bubble's log is, right? It's a headache to understand what exactly is happening here. So if you see for the last few minutes, what we did, we created posts, right? And if we see here button post is clicked, then create a new post came. Then there is something here, schedule task to run, right? Then the received request for API workflow is there. New database trigger event came in. Okay. Create a new log came in. Okay. I will add a text for posting. Then button post is clicked. So we don't know what happened after which particular flow because all the workflows is mixed together here. Okay. So what I would do is if I understand which particular workflow is not working, or let's assume that I don't know like what's working and what is not. I'll go to backend workflow, right? And where is that? Post modify. Yeah. So what I'll do is I will see which particular step worked because we know here create a new log is there. And if this particular log was created for that particular post, then we know this has worked. Okay, so let's go to, let's say, logs. Okay, now we have got this post after change. Third tweet is there. We create this particular one. This is there, right? There was, oh, why didn't this work? Second one. We had some text there as well. Okay, for some reason it does not work. So we know that this has worked, this has worked, this has worked, right? And that means that this particular thing is working fine. Okay, so I can be sure that it has worked until here, right? And anything that is added after this, if it has not worked, then my way of handling is I would just go to data. Okay, I create something like this dummy data. I create some dummy fields, like for example, post new. Okay, I'll make it as a text field. I'll go to backend workflow, right? And this is the workflow that I'm testing right now. So I'll just go and create a new thing. And I will make this as dummy data and post new, right? I'll save post now's post text, right? So whatever field I need for debugging, okay, I'll create all those fields here and I will add it over here. Okay. Now, if post now's post text is not getting saved in dummy data, okay, then that means post now is not being passed over here. I'm giving you a very random example because this is database trigger from Bubble and will always work. Huh? But I'm just giving you an example of how to debug from the backend workflow. Just create some dummy data in the backend, dummy data in your database, and link it step by step. Okay. If you feel that if you feel that, let's say, step 4 is not working, right, where we are supposed to get result of step 3 to be added over here. Okay. There are two scenarios. One, result of step 3 has not run, and that's why it is not working. Or user now is not there, and that's why it is not got linked. Right? Or user details is not empty. Right? These three can happen. So you have to figure out what went wrong. So we would create a new dummy here, right? And link all these three. Like user now, who is the user now? What is the user details? Like result of step 3 has come or not? And user now's user details is there or not? All three I'll put it in data type. And when this runs, it'll show me in the data type whether which of the conditions could be true, right? Based on which I will know what is the problem. And then I'll come here and change it, retest it. If it works, great. Otherwise, I'll fine tune the dummy details and then work towards it. Did you get that? Did you understand this? Manoj, Aditya, and all. Totally confused, huh? What are you talking, Ritesh? Imran, Devraj. Okay. So you have to use it. Yeah, once you use it. If you didn't understand how to use it, let me know. I'll explain it again. But if you got a bit confused because of this thing, then you have to use it. Okay, then you will understand. Should I explain it again? Will that help? Yeah. Okay, let me do one thing, right? I'll create an actual workflow and show you how this particular thing works. So let's say email is there, name is there, city is there, and we have to create user. So we are creating an account for somebody else. Okay. And I don't know where is this being called from. Let me search for this. Action type, schedule API workflow, create user. Oh, this is not being called from anywhere. So let me call this from, let's say, admin page. Okay. So I'm going to add a button here. Call this as create user. Okay. Now I'm going to schedule API workflow, and this will be create user. So it requires email, it requires name, it requires city, and schedule date and time. Let's say this is current date and time. I'd say ignore privacy rules. This is Obli, and this is, let's say, Reds. I'll not give email. Okay. Now, of course, here it says remember to fill out email. Okay, because it's mandatory and it is asking us. But let's assume that I'm going to. Oh yeah, here. Go to backend workflow. And here I'll make this as optional. Okay, because I want this to run and it to not create an account. Yeah. So I've left this email empty. Please remember, whenever it is not working, it's mostly our fault. Okay. Now we would have left this empty and I would have gone ahead, right? I'll log in as admin. To the admin page. And I'm clicking on this particular user. Now I come to this one and I'll be wondering like, why is the user not created? Okay. Of course, if we backtrack, okay, we normally understand what's going wrong. Okay. We'll have to go step by step by step, right? I'm showing you a very simple example and you might wonder like, oh, what's the point? I could have directly seen if I'm sending the email or not. But when there are complex workflows, complex data that is getting transferred from one workflow to another, right? It will get very confusing. So now this is not working fine, right? There was no new account that got created. So what I'll do is I'll create a new thing. And this time I'll create dummy data, right? So I'll go to dummy data and I'll say email, which is text. I'll also put name, which is text. I'll go here and I'll go to this particular thing, email, which is email from here, name, which is name from here. Of course, we can also add city if we require. Right? Now, if I click on this, right, I'll directly go to dummy data, app data. Now you see that this particular record got created just now. Okay. And name is, oh, email is not there. You're getting it? This will run. And even if this record has not got created, then that means this is not getting called at all. This particular thing is not getting called at all. And that's why this is not running. Or this particular thing has a condition which has not allowed it to continue any further. Getting it? Right? So now I'll see, oh, this email is not there. So I'll go back here. So, oh, email is missing and that's why it didn't run. So now I'll put 1, 2, 3, 4 something at something dot something. Now I'll click on create user. I'll go back. This time email is there, name is there. Okay, so user should have got created. I'll go to user. User is got created. Right? Now I don't need this dummy data anymore. So I can delete this. Let's say return is not working fine. Okay, result of step 2 unique ID. Now if this return is not coming back, so what I'll do is I'll go here. Okay, I'll create a field called whatever text. Let's say I'll put result of step 1's unique ID. Okay. So when I do this, if this is getting, what I say, created in the dummy data, right? So if I go here, if I click on this one, going to dummy data, and you can see that this is there, which means it is actually returning whatever it is supposed to return, right? This particular unique ID, whatever is there, that is getting returned. Okay. but whatever platform we are using to receive this, that is not able to receive it. Okay, so wherever you need, because logs, it's very confusing. Okay, at least to me. So this is how I do it. I create a dummy data in this thing. I add it wherever I want. I'll capture whatever the details that I need at any step, right? And then I will debug it. And if there are, let's say, like 45 steps that needs to be working, and I know like it is either not working here or here or here. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go to data type, dummy data, right? I'll create this thing called step. I'll put a number, right? And then I'll go to this thing. I'll put step equals to 1. I'll put this over here. I'll copy this, paste. I'll put this 2, right? I'll paste, put this 3, and so on and so forth, right? Now, if I go here and click on create user, if I come to data, dummy data in here, I can see 1, 2, 3, right? Which means all the steps that we have here is run. Okay. If 3 was not created, then we know that there was some issue after step 2, right? After this, something has happened, and that's why 3 was not created. Getting it, everyone? Did this help now to understand? Okay, cool. Others, Aditya, Devraj, Kufre. Kufre, I think, joined a bit late, so I'm not sure if he got the context. Imran, Rudy probably understood this. Well, practice. Yes, yes, yes. You have to practice, right? Whenever you want to understand about backend workflow, or rather, how do you debug backend workflow? What to say? I use this method and I recommend this method because it's much easier. Do you have any questions? Any questions for me?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
So actually, it's not a question, but I just wanted to share a debugging experience that I went through a few days ago. So
Yeah, sure.
I was debugging the project management app that I was making, and for some reason the tab was not changing, the group tab, and I was
Hmm.
figuring out on the workflows what all is there. And after almost 30 minutes or 40 minutes of finding out why it's not happening, I ultimately figured out only because of two inverted commas I had added in some conditions. It was not
Hmm.
happening. The moment I removed the inverted commas, it started working. So for some such a small reason, the entire thing was not working.
Yeah.
So I felt like sharing that.
Yeah. So luckily you spent just 30 minutes, right? I know people who have spent like days together just because of some small mistake,
Okay.
right? They're like, why is this not why? Okay, then I ask them like, have you done a step-by-step flow? Oh, they're like, no. I tried. Use it, right? Use step-by-step method. You'll understand what's happening. But also one more thing, guys, don't get confused with this, right? Uh, let's say, for example, I go with step by step. I click on create user. Okay, let me first change the email ID over here. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I click on yeah. Now you see what is the latest user that we have got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct? I'll click on step by step. I'll click on create user. Okay. Now I've not clicked on run next, so it is not supposed to go here. But this is already created. Did I run this step? I'm on step by step mode now, right? And I've not clicked on run next yet. Okay. So this should not have processed already. But if you go here and check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 user has already been created. The reason is Bubble runs the workflow as normal, always. Okay. It just shows us like this. So if I click on this one now, okay, it will look as though it has run just now, but the user was already created. Getting it? So whenever you are doing a step by step, don't get confused if the data is already there in the database. For some reason, Bubble works that way. Right? And this is true for any the thing that we are doing in step by step. Right? So let's say I click on this. This anyways, we don't have anything much. But let's say I'll create a post, right? Or post. I'm on step by step. I'll click on post and I'm not doing anything. None of this, right? But if you go here, post, fourth post is already created. Okay, this is just for us to understand, right? So if I click on this one now, it says create a new post. Fourth post is the text. Image is empty. Okay, next is recent relevant inputs, blah, blah, blah. But fourth post is already created even before we ran this thing. For us, it will show slowly, but in the backend, it has already run all the flows. Is this clear, everyone? Okay, so that's all we had for today. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy to answer them. So we have one last session coming up. I hope it's on Wednesday. I'll confirm by tomorrow, right? Most probably it will be on Wednesday. And of course, we have to understand what are the final touches that we have to give to the app. How do we send it to live? What are the plans available? And what are some of the to-dos once the app goes to live, right? And so that will be what we are going to cover during the next session. And after that, of course, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to put it in the community. And I know we had a couple of paid users, and for them, we, as promised, right, they can have sessions with me whenever they are stuck, and I'll try and help them as much as possible. Great. Anything else from anybody? Yes, please do watch it, practice it, right? Understand the concept so that, because whatever we covered today, okay, it's you cannot just practice it, right? I mean, you should get a issue and only then you can like inspect and see why it's not working. Like if something is working, then you cannot like what I say, you cannot delete and check why is it not working. You already know why it is not working. Right? Right? So only when it is not working and you don't know what is the reason, okay, will you be able to test how this entire thing works. Okay. So yeah, please do keep the concepts in mind so that whenever you're stuck, you can use these concepts and help yourself come out of it. And of course, if not, we have our bubble roundtable. We have our community where someone can help you, right? We are also looking to come up with some more things for serious developers. Okay, so some paid this thing or something where we can get on a call with them and support and stuff like that. Let's see how that goes. Awesome. Any questions? Yeah, Rudy, of course, you can put any questions in WhatsApp group. That's completely fine. Any questions from anybody? If not, we can wind up. Okay, then thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And we are one session away from completing this cohort. I hope all of you enjoyed it and found it valuable. Looking forward for the last session, which is most probably on Wednesday. Thank you once again. Have a nice evening. See you on Wednesday. Bye.
Bye, Ritesh. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.